The next thing to think about when you're setting up a rat cage is bedding. Now quite often pet shops will tell people that wood shavings are suitable bedding for rats. Well, it really is not suitable for several reasons, one of them being that wood shavings, especially pine and cedar, can give off some toxic chemicals, and that can be very damaging to your rats, especially with their respiratory system, and it can also irritate their skin because the wood shavings are very dusty. There's another reason of why wood shavings are not suitable to use in the house, and that's especially for people with allergies or asthma, and the wood shavings can be damaging to your health and to your rat's health. So whatever you use, please avoid wood shavings. They may be cheap, the pet shop may want you to buy it, but they're really not suitable. Now there are several different types of substrate bedding which you're going to put into the bottom of your cage to absorb the urine and to stop the smell. Now I always use paper-based products. We have tried in the past Carefresh, of which there are two types. There is a wood-based one, which is a pulp, which has been heat sanitized and doesn't resemble wood in any way, but it's very, very dusty. We tried the paper-based Carefresh, which is also very dusty, made me very itchy and sneezy and wasn't very nice at all for me. Although that may well suit you, I do feel it has a little bit too much dust in it, and it is quite expensive as well. Also, my other main problem with the Carefresh is the fact that it's dyed brightly colours, and I would rather have something natural for my rats. So I've tried lots of different things, and I've come down to using this paper-based, it's like a pellet. It's called Back to Nature, and it's available in two sizes, a 10-litre bag, and then you get the big 30-litre bag, which is over there, which is quite a big bag and quite heavy. Now that's available from Pets at Home. And it's quite handy because you can order it online and not have to carry big bags of bedding home. Now Pets at Home is actually the cheapest place to buy that as well, and they often have offers online. So I think the standard price for the 10-litre bag is around about £6, and I think the standard price for the 30-litre is around £17 a bag. But if you only have one cage of rats, that's going to last you quite a while. So the big bag is quite a bargain. At the moment it's been sold for £14 for the big bag, so that is quite good. And I tend to stock up whenever there's an offer on. Now what you're going to do with that is you're going to put that into the bottom of your rat cage. Now all the manufacturers will tell you to put a deep layer of bedding, of substrate bedding. That's because they want you to buy lots and lots of bedding. It's not necessary because you're going to be a responsible pet owner and you're going to spot clean your rat cage every day. You're going to scrub it out at least once a week, more often if you have lots of rats in your cage. So you see, I just have a layer that just covers the bottom of the cage here. Sorry, catching the tripod on the cage there. And that will be perfectly adequate for one day. And train your rats to use one particular corner of the cage, so you're not having to clean out the whole cage every day. I have a Furplast, I think that's a Savic, no, so it's a Savic toilet over there, toilet corner, which clips onto the bars of the cage. And you just put, if you can train your rats by putting some dirty bedding in there every day, train them to use that toilet. You've only got to clean that piece of corner out, and then you haven't got to keep picking out bits of wet bedding from all over the cage. Now some of my rats will use the toilet corner, and some of them use it to store their food and toys in, but with those rats I've trained them to use a different corner of the cage, so they're still using one corner, so that's quite nice. It makes cleaning out a lot easier. Now lots of people say rats don't need paper bedding. But I do disagree with this, because I think it's just a little bit of luxury. And you can see in the corner of the cage there, in the Mary cage, when I'm cleaning out the rats, I just give them a pile of paper just so they've got somewhere comfy to make a little bed, and it's nice for them. And paper is very good in all of my rat houses, their sleeping houses. I have paper in there, and the rats like playing with the paper as well, and they like making a little nest, so it amuses them and it also gives comfort. I use two types of bedding, paper bedding, but there is absolutely no need for you to buy two types. It's just the way I like to do things. Now I have this recycled paper, which unfortunately that's the biggest bag they do, 175 grams, and that's from Pets at Home. It is quite expensive at £2.50, but you really can pull it out and separate it, and it does go a long way. And if you only have 2 or 3 rats and 1 rat cage, that will last you a little while. We also use this Safe Bed paper, and that it comes in these big packs, either 2 kilogram packs, and now that is available from well, the cheapest place I found it is Amazon, and they also sell a 10 kilogram bag, which works out even cheaper. But if that depends on whether you've got the money to buy that, which is sort of £40 for a 10 kilogram bag, and whether you've got storage space. Especially in the summer when I'm not using so much paper, then I just stick to the 2 kilogram bags. But this comes quite compacted, so there's a lot more in there, and the strands are fairly long. So what they tell you to do is to pull the strands apart and make it smaller, and that makes a nice bedding material. So what I do is I put a little bit of the recycled paper into the bottom of the bed, then I get a little handful of the Safe Bed and I put that on top, and that's got a lid that clips on top of it, so it makes a nice cosy bed. And I do that for all my rats. Every rat cage has a little cosy bed like that, and that's really good. Young rats, old rats, sick rats, rats that just want a bit of comfort, makes a beautiful bed. But you could use just the recycled paper, or you could use the Safe Bed paper. It's entirely up to you, or you can do what I do and have a combination. And one other thing I should mention about the bedding, it doesn't really work with the plastic based cages. I have tried using fleece, and I know this is probably more popular in America than it is over here, but you can buy fleece material by the metre, and it's a big piece of material, because I think it's over a metre one way, 160 centimetres by 100 centimetres. So you get quite a large piece of fleece material. Now fleece doesn't need any hemming, it doesn't fray. And I know that I have seen some tutorials on using fleece. A lot of people use it with the metal based cages, and they use big clips to clip the fleece onto the edges. Now, you can't really do this with the deep base. We did try, but the rats were constantly pulling the fleece up, and you can't just lay a fleece pad inside because the rats just get underneath it. But there are some tutorials on YouTube that you could find if you have the metal type cage and you think you might want to try the fleece. The big disadvantage of the fleece is you have to change it quite frequently, and if you have a water meter, you've got to think about the cost of washing this, and the detergent and the electric. So I don't really think the fleece does work out that cheap in the end of it. The other thing, I don't really like using towels, because rats can get their nails caught in towels. And I think that's about all I can say on bedding at the moment. This has been a bit longer than I wanted to make it, but I've tried to include everything that I can think of to do with bedding. And paper based if you can. Paper based is always going to be the best bedding for your rats. Keep it natural. Look for one that has no preservatives, no chemicals added. You don't want anything that's got scents added to it. You just want plain natural bedding if you can get it.